this would happen, I refused. I was like, dude, I'm not wearing makeup.
Yeah.
And I remember I called my dad, who lives in Missouri. He was like, Dad, they wouldn't make me wear makeup. And I thought my dad would be like, oh, no. And he's like, why don't you? You look shiny. I'm like, really?
Are you serious?
You're cool with it, Dad? All right, if Dad's cool with it, I'm cool with it.
On this week's episode, we're celebrating the American Dream's 6th anniversary. Join us as we hear the founding members of the American Dream tell a story years in the making. Let's start the show.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted.
The American Dream Show is a vision that began 6 years ago as a need to create positive media in a landscape that relies on negativity to grab attention. It exists to educate, entertain, and to share inspiring stories from around the country of businesses and entrepreneurs doing their best to lead meaningful lives and carve out a lasting legacy for the better. I'm your host, Jem Morris, and I welcome you to join us as we hear the founding members of the American Dream tell a story years in the making.
Shoot the shit 2 times.
Right. Craig.
Seth.
Bro.
Broseph. 2.
Is that what we do
You
now?
just gotta get better.
This is what we do now?
Craig Sewing, creator of the American Dream. Look, when we set out to start this mission, it was about combating negative media. What ultimately happened is it became an entrepreneurial journey where we started to create some of our own dreams. And me specifically, took this thing all across the country. The American Dream is not a destination, it's a journey. And in this entrepreneurial spirit, in our second city of Denver, I met what ultimately would become my version of the American Dream, meeting who's gonna be my wife today, Brandy Sowers.
What has happened for me in my own experience of the name of the company and the name of the show is that American Dream has become something that means something on its own.
Yeah.
Like there's the American Dream and then there's the American Dream the show, and the American Dream the show to me almost has felt more inclusive than what my traditional concept of what American Dream is.
Yeah, what the show has evolved to is sharing the real stories from real people and real communities all across the country in a time when the media is so divisive and negative. We are inspiring and uplifting, and it's through sharing those real stories.
There's 400 people now that take part in the American Dream. There's millions of people that see it every single Sunday. What's crazy is the story of the American Dream is actually your story.
It started with a radio show.
The show's growing, and we're really proud of that. It's your show, not ours. But what you might not know is behind it all is me as an entrepreneur.
You know, a lot of us are waiting for that big aha moment that changes our life. But now that I'm inside of the company, I see it's a lot of little aha moments.
One of the most pivotal moments came from a very scary failure, and it came from the network. So we came in and we had this show and we built this show without their support. We, in our own bubble, were doing well. And I thought they were gonna offer us a daily show. So I'm going in there and I'm thinking, all right, prime time, this thing's gonna blow up. You know, you're always waiting for like that moment of like, you made it, now boom. So we go up, I have this meeting and they're like, next week we're unplugging the show. Well, we're not unplugging your show, we're unplugging the entire network. But we like you.
My goal is to educate, empower, and engage.
You know, it's like anything in life. You can turn lemons into lemonade. That's Julie Sewing, my mom, would always say that. So I said to these big network guys, well, can we still use your studio? There's a great opportunity for us to take those failures and turn them into bigger wins. And I think that's a message that should apply to anybody who's got that entrepreneurial spirit. Don't let fear of failure paralyze you. When you learn that your failures can be your biggest lessons and stepping stones, then you can replace that fear with faith, and then the world is yours.
Most people see obstacles, and he really does see opportunities. That is a unique characteristic to Craig.
Everybody he's come in contact with, they're all great people. And because knowing Craig, like, he makes everybody around him better. And I can see why he's achieved the American dream.
Ooh, well, hey. I think I took one look at you and I go, this is a guy I can drink a beer with. And I think there was a kind of an immediate friendship. I think absolutely, at least on my side, there was a fascination with you because you came into California, which is a very intimidating state, to come in and try to be a big entrepreneur, and you were completely fearless. When you started the American Dream, several things. One, I didn't see the vision, straight up. Number two, I didn't think I had the confidence to get in front of a camera and represent myself. And it wasn't until other people joined the show that I said, no, wait, they can't be on that show without me being on that show. So to me, change has always intimidated me. But to you, that's like a surfer in a wave. Like, you want the change, because what the change does is give you the ability to pull ahead of all the competitors.
Yeah.
And it's just a radically different way to think about what makes most people nervous.
Yeah, the greatest sailor is going to win in the roughest waters.
Exactly.
Right? And so, I don't know, I think if you have enough experiences in your life where you did have a major failure and it still worked out, you start to have a little bit more confidence when those things occur, because the change is happening for everybody.
Yep.
Right? So as long as you're on the leading edge of certain things, you get to dictate what it's going to mean to you. We had talked forever about partnering, and we probably had 100 different ideas, and, napkins and happy hours.
I was going to say a lot of IPAs were drank.
Everything changed. The look of the show, the concept of the show. That next day, it was like, boom, gone.
Why there's emotion, I think, that we've been able to achieve in the last year of the show is because we took the show out into the field. We weren't telling realtors to talk about their communities in a certain way. We weren't editing what they were saying. We weren't giving them scripts. We were going, here's a camera. Tell us what's really happening. I thought, God, I could get involved in this company and not only build a company with my friend, we could do something that we could do well by, but also do good by. Like, we could actually change the media landscape for the positive.
And you called it being radically authentic.
Hi, Summer. Thank you for the invite.
You wanted to shift this thing out of studio.
Yep.
Our piece, but also all the realtors all across the country are doing these 2-box interviews. How are you going to do this? And dude, you did it. Like, you just did it. And I still don't know how we did it. We're here now. And it was because you knew the collective public, right? Like, what they're thinking, how they're consuming information.
Yeah.
And you changed it. And that's where I think the show went from here to there.
I always wonder, like, what is the moment when this company cannot be caught, right? You know, you watch like two cars competing.
Yeah.
Usually like the old classic car takes a while to rev up, but then you just can't catch it. Doesn't matter how fast that Porsche goes, it's too far ahead. And that was the moment where I was like, you can't catch up with this company because we just became peer-to-peer.
Relationships are your key ingredient. With anything in business, whether it's media or anything else, we had built equity in real relationships. A few contacts, a few phone calls. They partnered with us to create the studio, Ignite Media. Now I'm this executive show producer to the CEO of a media company. We're commercial free. We're not a slave to anybody on content. We blaze our own trail. And that's where we built the media company. That's where we really brought the show in. And then everything flourished from there. When I walk around Ignite Media, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I'm so damn proud, and I'm proud of it. I'm like proud of the life it's become, the thing that it does. I mean, you can walk through there and there's the social media team.
Yeah.
There's the account managers. There's the editors. There's the producers. And this whole thing is gelling and it's growing. And it's like,
Yep.
I could be cut out of this equation now and this will not stop.
What I love is, you know, I walk into the editing room and there's 11 of some of the brightest young minds in editing and a lot of people who are incredibly experienced as well, that are veterans. And I can sit and watch people taking footage from all over the country, all over America, and crafting stories around these young entrepreneurs.
This thing now is its own living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
The people that put this together, everybody's fingerprints are all over it. That's what I'm most proud of, and that's what makes me so confident that we're just at the beginning.
Living the American dream, man. That's it. Doing it right now. Work hard, play hard, strive for the best, be part of the best, work with friends, create great relationships, man. That's it. Love it.
For me, the American dream is visualizing something that you want so bad and actually going after it and getting it no matter what it takes.
One of the things that attracts me to the American dream is that it's not just a company, it's a concept. And I think one of the things that American Dream TV is so good at is capturing the diversity of what the American dream means all over America. And that is something I'm so proud to be a part of.
Part of the American dream is dreaming big. On today's episode, we're going to visit Anguilla, a little island off of the South Coast. You know, in all of this mission and all the things we've talked about here today about making the American dream come to life for everybody all across the country and millions of followers and all that stuff, we gotta remind people this is really fun for us too. There's struggles and there's trials and tribulations, but like when Richard Steinberg out of New York City, who sold A-Rod and J-Lo their home, says at the end of this call, he goes, hey, I sell for the Four Seasons in Anguilla, and I want to fly you guys down there, and we're going to stay in the Four Seasons, and it's going to be incredible, and let's do a show down there. And I'm the CEO of the company. I'm leading the phone call, and I'm like, yeah, and we talked through and all this. By the end of it, you remember this call? I go, can I say something really stupid? What is Anguilla?
Break it down. It's a material world, but I'll tell you now, I can be your girl.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was.
Someone said it offhand, and then it became very serious. A couple cocktails in, we were like, no, we're doing this.
We were getting a private jet. So what do we do in the airport? In the airport where we have missed our flight. I'm not trying to act like I'm a baller. I remember he and I were like, we gotta look cool in front of our girls. I'm like, napkin, like how much will you put in
well, how much will you?
I'm like, dude, I'm calling my MasterCard. I'm like, how much room do I got on this thing? And I'll never forget being on this flight. My fiance will be my wife by the time I think this comes out, with you and Jesse. And I remember being on this private jet.
Listening to Cardi B.
And to the right, you had a sunset over Miami. And to the left, you had this full moon. And I don't care what that costs. Like that is a price. I get goosebumps just talking about it. It was a priceless moment of like all the blood, sweat, and tears. And we're experiencing this moment right now.
Well, I come from Kansas City, Missouri, and my dad's been in business for 43 years. And for me, the American dream is building off what he's been doing for the last 43 years.
Being someone from a small town in Olympia, Washington, being down here in Southern California trying to make a name for myself, to me, that is an opportunity you wouldn't see in other countries. And I think you can see it here in America. And I think that's the reason that I'm so proud to be American.
First generation Filipino American. My parents came over from the Philippines, and they made a lot of sacrifices for me, even just to be around and do things. So it's always been in my soul and my purpose to make sure that I get to a place that makes them proud.
You may kiss your bride.
People ask all the time, is the American dream dead? And I got to ask them the question, are you dead? Because the moment we stop dreaming is the moment we are dead. As a country, there's a reason that millions of people went into it, not out of it. Now, whether your goal is to start a business, start a charity, or start a family, like I'm going to be doing here today, the American dream is subjective. You get to define it, you get to chase it, and it's a never-ending process. And that's what makes it such an amazing thing. And through our show, this is the story that we want to share all across the country of real stories, making real impact on real people's lives.
Found you here, 'cause nothing is better than you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun. Lay here forever, you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun. I just wanna stay until the morning sun. I just wanna stay until the morning sun.
When we're talking about the American dream, we are living what the overall story is. I mean, if you boil it all the way down to the core of what this thing is, all of us internally as teammates, I never use employees, I never use that word, as teammates, partners, and all of our own individual stories, personally and professionally, like it's created this tapestry, this fabric where you have a purpose. And I feel like we have this purpose in this great story, and it's been cool sharing it.
You now have so much personal interest and so much love in the company. I'm officiating your wedding, and I'm your partner in CMO. You know, my best man at my wedding is our director of revenue and retention. So what's so cool is like that's a glue that just can't be unstuck.
A hug?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go.
We're grateful for everyone that helped grow our show into an outstanding source of knowledge and inspiration, and for the opportunity to share these stories with viewers around the country. We're happy to have shared our journey with you, and we hope that you've enjoyed it too. Thank you for watching.